Hi, this is Debbie from the Inspiration Station. Thank you for joining me today. Today is Groundhog Day, and I'm participating in a hop with other creators repeating what they've done on this day in previous years. This is my first time playing along with the Groundhog Day Hop, so technically I didn't have anything to scraplift from last year. But what I decided to do is take out some layouts that use the same sketch, so it's sort of the same idea. There's a sketch from Allison Davis that was in one of the classes I took with her. I think it was one of the 6x6 classes. I'll see if I can find it and link it below. But I really liked the sketch, and this is the first layout that I created with it. And it was a departure for me because it had all this slanted design, and that's what drew me to the sketch. So I did that in 2017, apparently. And then I used the same sketch again, and this was in 2024, my oldest grandson's birthday. So in a way, I scraplifted myself. And then this was the most recent one that I did. And this was from a trip I took to Utah with some friends in 2024. So you can see the similarities. It's the same sketch. So this is how I'm going to do Groundhog Day. I'm going to scraplift these. I'm going to go back to that original sketch and do my layout from there. These are the photos I plan to work on. This is my very first time at Grandparents' Day at my grandson's school. And I was just so excited to go and just be a part of it. He really loves his school. It's actually daycare, but we call it school. So it was a great day. And I have these photos I want to document. And I've been trying to make a concerted effort this year to use up some of my old stash. So I pulled out some papers that I thought would work. Now these are super old. I don't even think there's a date on this. Oh, maybe there is. Hold on. 2016. Bo Bunny, 2016 toy box. This one, do you all remember Becky Higgins' Project Life when she used to do 12 by 12 papers? This was, I think, her very first kit that she did. It was actually Project 365. And I don't remember if I bought it from Creating Keepsakes or if I bought it off QVC, but I bought the album and it came with the box of cards and it came with a bunch of 12 by 12 papers. So that's where this one is from. I've purged a lot of it because that's just not my thing. But the back side of this, I love this red grid. So I've kept that along with a couple of other grids from that line. And then how about Chatterbox? Anybody remember Chatterbox? This had to have been, let me see if there's a year on it. This had to have been like 2002, maybe. No, I don't see a date on it, but it's super thin. It was Chatterbox. I think when I first opened my store in 2002, we had a lot of this paper from Over the Moon Press and Chatterbox and everything. So I'm thinking this was early 2000s. Anyway, those are the papers that I started to pull. I do want to try and bring in something a little bit darker or a little more modern. So I did pull out some papers from Echo Park from the Play All Day boy line. And I think these will go well with the photos. So I'm going to clear all this off, start cutting some paper down, and show you how I put it together. Hold on one moment. To get started, I need to mat these photos onto a strip of cardstock because I'm going to put them on here at an angle. I'm not completely sold on this notebook paper as the background. So I'm going to leave everything unattached until I decide, but I'm going to mount these on here. If I use this paper, well, any paper that I use, I'm going to have to trim it down a little bit because when you do it on an angle, the 12 inches is not quite enough here and here. And I don't have longer paper. So what I've done in the previous layouts is just trim down, I believe, 1/4 of an inch all around. So 1/2 inch on two sides. And that gave it enough space so that it goes right to the edge, and it's just a nice framed style foundation. So I'll get these matted and I'll be right back. All right, so I did a little rearranging and got them. I had to trim a little bit off one of the photos to make them fit so that I had a margin between. Personally, I don't like when all the photos are bumped up against each other without some sort of margin. My eyes just can't focus on anything. It's just too busy for me. So I do have a bit of a margin between each one, and it's not exact. I don't measure. I did go back with the T-square to try and make sure it was, straight on the bottom and top, but I don't measure. I eyeball it. So if it's not perfect, that's okay. The next thing I want to do is I want to border this piece with the red. I'll probably do about 1/4 of an inch. I cut 1/2 inch strips so that I had something to work with. So I will stick those on. So one of the things I didn't mention, because I didn't realize it at first, this white cardstock from Basil is actually sticky backed. And when I pulled it out of my stash, I thought it was awfully thick. And it's kind of slick on the back. And I thought, why? Well, I wonder what that's all about. It's sticky back. So now I have to be really careful in putting this down. I'm going to try and line it up on my grid mat. Make sure I'm in frame so you can see what I'm doing. So you can see if I mess it up. I almost want to tape that down with some washi tape or something just to make sure it doesn't shift. And you know what? I don't think that's such a bad idea. So we're going to get that lined up. I'll just tape it down just so it doesn't shift on me because I am a little afraid. All right, and then I can use the grid on my mat to give it a 1/4 inch. We get a 1/4 inch there, a 1/4 inch up there. It looks a little off to me. I think it's hard. I wear bifocals, and sometimes the lines don't look straight to me, but I'm going to trust that the mat is telling me the truth. So we will now turn this one around. Okay. All right, not too bad. I do want that release paper though. I'm going to stick that back on here while I'm playing, just so I don't get it stuck to something else. It doesn't stick to the mat, which is good, but if I, set it aside, it may end up sticking to the paper, and I don't want that. So my next idea, my next thought is I need to get some paper strips. And I really liked that alphabet print, this one here. And if you cut it just one row, it's a 1/2 inch, which is, I think, one of the sizes in the sketch. Honestly, I have done this so many times that I don't even look at the measurements anymore. I just go by my own thought process. But what I did was, there's a whole alphabet in a row, A to Z, so I cut it so I'd have 1/2 at the top and 1/2 down here. So those will end up like that. And then I will need to take some of these papers and cut more strips. So for that, I will do that off camera and I'll be back. I went back and I chose a different background paper. I actually liked this white grid better. The notebook paper just didn't quite seem to fit. Kids of this age don't use lined paper to write or draw. I don't know that they use graph paper either, but it just seemed a little bit nicer, a little bit more, I don't know, aesthetically pleasing. That is from, I had the slip here, it's from Simple Stories. It's one of their wood papers. Let's see which one it is. It is Snap Basics Birch and White Grid. So that came out of their wood paper pack. And I think I decided that I want to mat it onto the blue Play All Day. I did cut it down to 11.5. You can see what I mean, how it's not, this is not going to go to the 12 inches. So I'll stick this down to the white and then I'm going to trim it off. So I just have to make sure that everything I want in there is where I want it. And this is going to determine the angle of everything else on the page. So hold again. I did look back at the sketch to see where it should be placed, and it says about 2.5 inches up from the bottom. So I'm going to put that there and bring this one over here. And I want this to be the point there and this point there, and we're good to go. And then I'll just flip it over and trim the back. I don't do well with scissors. I just can't seem to cut straight, so let me take this over to my trimmer. So I really liked the blue stars around the outside. I did gut this paper because it had these adorable little fire trucks on the other side, and with 4 grandsons, I'm pretty sure I'm going to find a use for that. So I did gut out the center, and I think now, let's see where we're at with these guys. So this is going to go on here. I have to look. I believe in the original sketch, the strips went all the way to the edge, but because I cut the photo and everything here, I think it's going to go more like that. And then I just have to decide what other strips I'm going to use. So I will go cut those. So I went and cut several strips. I did the 2 chatterbox papers. I basically cut them a 1/2 inch wide, just a 1/2 inch wide strip, and then I cut them in half and kind of played with them. I did cut the Lego paper, and I don't really like it. So I think what I'm going to do is get another strip of the alphabet to put up here. I think that will make me happier. This won't be quite so long, but I'm going to cut another strip of the alphabet and put it up in that corner. And then I need to find something to do my title, which will probably be thickers, or maybe I'll do something on the Cricut. But at the moment, my husband is looking for dinner, so I'm going to stop the camera, hopefully get back to this tonight. If not, I'll work on it tomorrow. I got my strips glued on, and my plan is to use some of these stars. Similar to the sketch, she had stars. I think hers were much bigger. She had stars at the end of each one of those little strips. I'm going to be using some punched out ones that are much smaller. But what I wanted to show you is something I do that really helps me to save some time. And that is whenever I cut punch shapes, whatever, basic shapes like stars or hearts or snowflakes, I always punch extra and I save them. And so I have a little box here that's labeled stars. These I just dumped out so I could paw through them. It saves a lot of time because everything except these red ones came out of this bin. I have a variety of colors to choose from and a variety of sizes. And it really doesn't take any extra time when I'm punching other things. And so this is what I do. I take the leftovers of whatever piece I have, and I'll take a smaller punch and I'll go in with the smaller one and see what I can cut. So in this case, I'm only going to get that one big one, but throw out the scrap there, and I'll save this for another project. So I'm probably going to get another 8 or 10 little stars out of that. I have some itty bitty ones that I did. For those, I have to get a little more creative here. I have to get them. The little tiny ones are way down here at the end, so that takes a little bit more. But I'm just going to get that, punch them, and find the little ones. There's a little one. There's another one. You can see how tiny they are. So I just wanted to give you that tip. If you're going to throw this away anyway, you might as well punch it and get some use out of it. Stars are perfect for that. Hearts, like I said, snowflakes, maybe leaves. It just depends on what you have punches for. So I'm going to arrange those, but first I do need to get my title on the page and figure out my journaling. I know the title is going to go down here, and I did find this chipboard piece in the Echo Park chipboard that I had pulled, and I think that's going to end up going down here. So we'll see. I did pull for my, I don't know if I'll use this or not because they're almost the exact same size as this paper, so that may be too small. I'm going to go back and look and see what I have that's larger. So I'll be back in a minute. I went through my stash of thickers and puffy alphas and stuff, and I had pulled out a lot, pretty much narrowed it down to these two. And I think the red is just too much. It's going to compete too much. This blue is a nice match to what's on here, but it won't be overwhelming. So I believe I went through, and I think all the letters that I need here for Grandparents' Day are here. So I will line them up on my little ruler here. But one of the problems is everything We Are Memory Keepers is the same shade of teal, so I can't see anything when I do it on the mat. So I need to move this out of the way and get a piece of white paper, and I will spell everything out so that it can go onto the page. I got my title stuck down, and I did my journaling envelope. And what I did was I printed it on the computer and then put it onto the vellum. And I used a die that I had. It's a very old die. I think it was Lifestyle Crafts before they were bought up by We Are Memory Keepers. But anyway, it makes the notebook edge. I did use a glue dot behind it, stuck it behind the photo so you can't see that. And now it comes time to embellish, which is the fun part, right? So I think what I'm going to do is I want to put the red stars first because they're the biggest, and so we'll do that, and then I'll just mix and match, I guess. Let's see what else I have here. I got all of the stars glued down, and then I went in and added a couple of teeny tiny little enamel dots that I had in that lime green. So the only thing that didn't make it onto the page was this chipboard piece, but I think I can still get it on there without messing anything up, because there's a spot here with the magnet tiles you don't really need to see, and it's still pretty centered, I think. So yeah, I'm going to put that there just because I wanted to use it, and I think it's appropriate. Look at you go. He's using scissors and he's drawing with his crayons, and obviously very proud of what he built. So I'm really happy with this. This is my 4th page that I've done with this sketch, and so I thought it was perfect for Groundhog Day. Remember, this is a YouTube hop, and there are tons of people playing along. The playlist will be listed below, and in fact, there are 4 playlists think this is year 4, so there are playlists for every year. So there's a ton of inspiration out there for you, and I hope you take advantage of that and go visit all of the other creators. Don't forget to leave a comment. Give thumbs up to everybody that you appreciate their pages and their talent. It really does help content creators out when you give a thumbs up or leave a comment. Also, if you have not subscribed yet to my channel, I would appreciate that. So I'm going to leave this here in the stills. I will have, I'm going to make a print of all 4 of the pages that I've made using this sketch and put that at the end. So I hope you like that. All right, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.